bouncing around. And just release that frustration. Things not coming. That frustration of feeling stuck. You're perfect. Is it Bina? Is that how I say that? I'll put you first on the list. And again, if anyone else is interested, it's 3333 for a one-on-one. I don't know why I wanted to say bean. I hope other people say that, not just me. I'll try to remember that from here on out. It must be something with our brains. I don't know. Like, it's a weird thing to... Sometimes you see certain words and you say it wrong, even though intuitively you know that that's not right. I don't know what that is. I'm sure a neuroscientist could help us understand why we do that. That headache and that worry, that doubt, that swirling around in your head. Replaying that scenario over and over and over again. That judgment of the self. The worry of what other people think of us. Hello, Miss Daniela. How are you? You just came into my conscious awareness, so I knew you were coming. Getting really good at being able to feel things into the future. I'm good, thanks. It's hot. I don't know about where you guys are at, but it's quite hot here right now, so water is important. We're going to ground all of this stuff in, and then we'll start with the one-on-ones. Just really begin to ground into our bodies. Bring that presence back into our awareness. Well, you're so welcome, Cheryl. I'm just so happy that you're here. I'm just a reflection of you guys. I'm just able to reflect your own abilities and power out. And thank you for the follow. It seems like it's hot fucking everywhere right now. I guess it is summer in the northern hemisphere, so that would make sense that it's hot everywhere. But this summer seems hotter than normal. I know my dog is not having a great time in the heat because she's black. And we put on a few too many winter pounds here, unfortunately. I kind of let it get out of control. I didn't think it was as bad as it is, but she's quite overweight right now, so she's really struggling in the heat. But the heat's also helping her lose a bit more, so we're all good. I'll just ground that in. And again, if anyone else is interested in one-on-ones, we'll start them in about 5 minutes. I've spaced for a couple more. They're $33.33, and there's a link in my bio for PayPal and for Stripe. And thank you for the gifts, the likes, the shares, the follows, all of that jazz. It's all much appreciated. They tell me it helps with the algorithms, so if it does, great. Just make sure to not hurt your finger or tap too much. You know, if you are tapping, take breaks. You don't need to tap the whole time. It's much appreciated, but we don't want anyone getting into a tapping accident. You know, the last thing I want in my conscience is to know that I've hurt people's thumbs or fingers because they tap too much. I know for me it's just kind of a natural reaction now that when you go on lives you just tap. It's weird how you become programmed to do certain things so quickly. It's only been a few years that I've had TikTok, but now it's that natural kind of tendency to do it. Exactly, a thumb energy alignment. To really, maybe you could juice up the thumb muscles so you can like tap twice as fast. Have an automated tapping response. But then you might go through life just kind of tapping at everything, and you know, maybe some things don't want to be tapped. So you just have to be very careful with that. Just continue to ground and just get release some stuff in our heart. Just the tendency to close yourself up, to make yourself small when things get tough. Here we go. We're just going to open up that heart space if you're open to it. To allow for that beautiful authenticity, to allow for that love to come out, for the world to see you in all your being and all your power. There we go. To know that it's safe to be authentic, that it's safe to be vulnerable. There we go. Just ground in that authenticity. one in that presence. Yeah, I do a lot of my sleep. I used to do a lot more grid work for sure. When me and my dog lived in our van, we used to travel to a lot of different places, and I would do a lot more conscious kind of work with some of the grids. I've been a bit more stable and cemented and planted in one place lately, so I haven't been doing as much just because I haven't been traveling around as much. But especially when we're moving around, we're often working with a lot of the energetic structures and a lot of the kind of residual consciousness that hasn't been fully crossed over and integrated in some spaces, and clearing some of the energy in some of the very heavy areas of the world so that they can begin to just find that peace and happiness. It can be quite dense in some places sometimes, so when you can open some of that up, it's magical what people can really start stepping into. Just that compassion and presence for themselves. You are too, I take it, Meg, or I see. But that's where it's really beautiful to see so many people spread out all throughout the earth doing this very important and sacred work, and now really starting to shift the world around them. Sometimes we forget about how impactful we are. That simple little smile, that small little conversation that we had with somebody at the grocery store, you know, that little bit of presence that we bring in somebody else's life goes such a long ways. So many are struggling right now. So many are deep, deep in their pain. And it's amazing what one little smile will do. It is really beautiful. You know, it's beautiful to see so many doing that, so many doing the work. You know, there's so much pain and sadness in the world, but there's also so many people that are stepping into this, that are really bringing this pain and suffering into their awareness and shifting out of it, so that eventually we can create a world, that we can create a system that reflects one void of pain and suffering, that reflects compassion, that reflects kindness, that a beautiful symbiotic process of everybody just existing, of everybody coming back to that truth that we're all one, and that if we're all one, it's beneficial for everyone to have their needs met. It's beneficial for us all to be given what we need, to be sent that kindness and compassion so that we can succeed as much as possible. Oh, that's so beautiful, Meg. I know I used to practice a lot more Reiki and quantum healing and stuff, and even I would speak a lot more light language, but lately I've just been allowing for my hands just to do all the work for me so that I can speak about different things and just allow for that kind of energy to naturally kind of flow through me. It's quite beautiful when you just surrender to yourself and allow it to shift yourself. All right, so we're going to start doing the one-on-ones. Again, they're 33. There's a link in my bio for PayPal and for Stripe. Benna, you're first on the list. I said it right, didn't I? And it's exactly a beautiful organic ebb and flow. Cool. Was there anything in particular that you wanted assistance with, Benna? Anything that's coming up? I did have to, I don't know if you noticed, but I had to consciously, I said Jenna in my head, and then I was able to translate it over instead of saying Bina. But I don't know where I'm getting Bina from. Where do you get that A? There's no A. It's B-E-N-N-A. So it's like your brain places things that aren't there. Weird process. Sadness and old triggers. Okay, we can see what's come up. Yeah, some of the past days and weeks have been quite hard, so as a reminder for everyone to please take it easy on yourself, and we'll see what this is all kind of connected to and what we can do to kind of shift through it. So are you open and ready to receive it? And then as well, with the one-on-ones, even though it is a one-on-one, it's almost as if we're creating a specific frequency, we're creating a specific song for one person, but that doesn't mean that you might not be struggling with similar things. So if you set your intention, you can always ask to receive this, and it can help with a lot of similar kind of things that you may be experiencing. But a lot of times what I find in the chat is people will be going through almost like identical kind of experiences because we mirror each other, because there's only so many kind of things that we can do, so a lot of similar things will happen. So if you're wanting to, you can always set that intention and receive this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to connect to your heart space. The first thing that came up right away is there was that heaviness in the heart, but a lot of pain down in your liver. There's a lot of like anger and frustration boiling up, and then a lot going on in your head that running in circles and replaying certain things over and over and over again, and feeling as if there is no escape out. So where's all this coming from? So around 10 years old, there's two incidences that are very related. I think they're saying in some ways it kind of happened. The first thing was there was the feeling of betrayal. So a friend that you were close with in and around that age kind of stabbed you in the back. I can see her kind of like turning on you, and she started bullying you, which caused a lot of injustices. But where it's connected to your mom is when you went asking for sympathy and compassion. She kind of in a way almost like blamed you for it. That's what it. And you replayed this kind of over and over and over again, where it was almost as if you've restructured it. It's that you were to blame, that it was your fault. Or just release that. The story of everything I touch goes to shit. I ruin relationships. Nobody sees me for who I am. Oh, there we go. And that's where that frustration is stemming from, is knowing that you did nothing wrong, but being blamed for it. And it crystallized into your identity. There it is. Just collapse that. I know that you're been crying, but it might help to, do you have like a movie or song, something that really brings on the tears? Because crying is really going to help. I'm sorry that she blamed you for that. That's not like what I think really is going to help is going back and being with your inner child and finding something that's going to spark those emotions, but really sitting with that part of you to show her that you're not to blame, that none of this was your fault. You know, because what's happened with this identity structure, you see it kind of looping where you blame yourself for like everything. It's like a volcano could explode in Guatemala and you will blame yourself for it because you've somehow caused this chain reaction of events. That there's a lot of, and that's just like an extreme example, but there's a lot of completely unrelated things that have happened that you've blamed yourself for. And they really want, in some ways, to really come back in to yourself, to really show her that she's not to blame for any of this. That even though you may have hurt other people, that your intentions have always been pure. And that, there it is. That love inside you is so strong, is so divine and pure, that it was never your intention to hurt anyone. It was never your intention to cause pain. It's unfortunately how others react is out of our control, but if you can just sit with her to help her see it was never her pain. The other thing, that's coming up is a lot of the injustices, especially the injustices in the world. This is because you take on a lot of stuff. It's very easy for you in some ways to just completely absorb yourself into the suffering and into the pain of others, especially when it comes to injustices, and especially when it comes to some of the things in the world right now. So they're really asking for you to take a break when you start feeling yourself slip in some ways, to disconnect and not take so much on, because when you take too much on, it prevents you from being able to really be in that power, right? There's only so much that we can do, and that there's so much pain that people have to bring into their own awareness before that change can happen, but to really not take that on all the time. There it